Well, hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make my salmon poke. Got all my ingredients here. We're going to start with the red onion. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to eat it, so you make it and cut it however you prefer. This recipe is inspired from the poke that I used to eat back home in Hawaii. Mostly poke that I've had is always with tuna, or a lot of times they like to use imitation crab or even mussels, and also taco, which is basically just octopus. So you're gonna cut your onions like this, so they look like little rainbow shapes or U's. Depending on how big of a batch you make or how much salmon you've got, you can use as much or as little onion as you want. You don't even have to use onion if you don't want to. I know there's people out there who are allergic or you just don't like onion. You can leave it out. You can use peppers instead if you'd like. Totally okay to make this recipe your own. Next, cucumber. I like cucumber in this poke as it adds a nice crunch and it's a nice refreshing little bite. Again, you can use, if you don't like cucumber, or you know, you want to make this differently, you totally don't have to use cucumber. You can use avocado. A lot of people love avocado. And avocado is a very good substitute if you're looking for something different. I like the crispness and freshness of the cucumber. You're just cutting these into like little strips like this. Doesn't have to be uniform, doesn't have to be perfect. And again, with all of the ingredients that you're gonna use, you can use as little or as much as you want. This poke is my husband James's favorite. So I try to make it as often as I can. Obviously, it includes one of the most expensive ingredients, salmon. So a good substitute is any other kind of fish that is okay to eat and safe to eat raw when you prepare it correctly. I believe you can do steelhead, or I'm not sure actually what other fish is good to use. Just there. Right, now I've got my salmon. I try to get my salmon, I get my salmon from Costco. Costco is one of the best trusted sources for salmon that I know of, other than getting it from, you know, somebody that you know who catches fish all the time. So far I've found that Costco is the best for salmon. Now, this piece of salmon I've got is huge, as you can see, gigantic. What I do with this is I usually cut it into smaller little sections so that I can easily get it all cut into cubes. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect or uniform, but you can also, I don't know really any places that do it, but you can also have a butcher or the person at a local fish market cut it up for you. Or if you can find salmon that is already cubed, leave a comment below and let me know. I would love to find that. That would make my process a little bit less time consuming. And then yeah, you just cut your salmon into strips and then cut it into little cubes. You know, the bigger you cut them, the more filling it'll be in the container when you are done mixing it all together. So try to go for, you know, the average size, about this size. I don't know if you can see there. Try to go for that size. But again, doesn't have to be perfect or uniform. Cut it however you'd like. Get creative with it. It's the best part about making food yourself, is getting creative with it. You know, growing up, my grandma on my dad's side would always cook a lot of Filipino food. Adobo. She made the best fried rice, hands down. You know, to this day, people say that my fried rice is really good, but they have not tried my grandma's fried rice. It is to die for. But I've always grown up with people who knew how to cook and who knew what kind of flavors were the best flavors. And growing up in Hawaii, you know, you have access to a lot of local and fresh things, fresh fish, fresh meat, you know. Believe it or not, people do still go and hunt pig up in the mountains. You know, fresh produce. A lot of people like to grow their own vegetables, and the taro plant, which is similar to like a sweet potato, is very popular. But yeah, growing up in Hawaii and growing up with the kind of family that I had, I was never a dull moment when it came to food. You know, my mom was more of a baker. You know, bless her heart. I love you, Mom. She cooked and made a lot of cheesecake and cookies and mango bread. Those were the things she liked to make. But no, I don't have her mango bread recipe. For those of you who are thinking that I might be able to make that. you're out of luck. Anyway, this is probably the most tedious part of this whole process, is cutting the salmon yourself. You don't have to get big fillets. If you have a place that you like to go for your seafood, use that. If they have smaller size fillets, that also works too. Because this fillet is from Costco and it's so huge, it's a little bit time consuming to cut it into squares or cubes. So again, comment below if you have a place, or if you know of a place, or you have somebody that you know who you can get your salmon already pre-cut. I'd love to buy some from them sometime. But this salmon that I got at Costco, usually the salmon fillets at Costco run anywhere from, I would say, $23 at the least to about 30 or 40 bucks at the most. It depends on the size of the salmon fillet. They're about the same price per pound though. You can get it with or without the skin. Obviously, without the skin is better, but if you are the kind of person that I am, I like to use as much of what I get as possible. So I would say that if you can't find, or if there's not a place that you can get your salmon without the skin, that getting it with the skin on is fine. It does take a little bit of effort to get the skin off. I've tried. Not fun. But wherever you are able to get it from, more power to you. Whatever's cheaper. Salmon is generally a pretty expensive fish anyway, so I guess in a way we're out of luck, aren't we? So there's that. All right, I had to run off and get my bowl. So put all of your salmon into a bowl, a big bowl if you have it. I got this big red bowl that I'm using at Walmart. Totally affordable and totally inexpensive. All right. And then last but certainly not least is the marinade. So this recipe, usually I have cilantro. I did not remember to grab any, so this one will be without cilantro, but you would usually chop up the cilantro and add that in. So I've got rice vinegar. This one is seasoned. You don't have to get the seasoned one. Whatever you can find in your supermarket is perfectly fine. I go with the seasoned one because it gives it a little bit more flavor. But you can totally use a different kind of rice vinegar or just plain, however you'd like, and whatever is easiest and readily available and cheapest. I always like to go with, you know, a good quality, but also something that does not break my bank. So rice vinegar, I eyeball everything. I don't measure. So nothing is ever really precise. For me, eyeballing it is the best method, because if I need to add something, I can add it. If I added too much, I'll know. A little bit of lime juice, a little bit of pepper, some chili flakes. I add a good bit of chili flakes in there to help counteract the really abrasive vinegary punch of the rice vinegar. But if you're not a big fan of spice, don't add it, or you can use just a little bit. You can also do like chili oil, or if you want to add hot sauce, that's fine too. Some whole sesame seeds, tiny bit of salt, and then some sugar. The sugar helps to sweeten this up a bit and also help to cut off that vinegary taste you get from the vinegar, the rice vinegar. All right. Give this a good mix. Haha. Missed the word on that one. All right. Whew. Smell that. So, can't see it off camera, but I dumped my cucumbers and my red onion in there. And then the marinade all over it. And then you just give this a toss to mix it all up. And that is basically it. It's ready to eat after that. You can eat it right away. You can package it up, or, you know, put it in a container. If you're going to save it for another time, I say it's good for about 2 to 3 days at the most in your refrigerator. So I would recommend that if you're not going to eat this right away, that you make this maybe a day or so prior to when you're going to actually plan on eating it. Because it does last only about 2 to 3 days in the fridge, maybe 4. But yeah, that's basically it. That's how you make my salmon poke. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys try this recipe out. Have a great night. Bye.